All right, today we're with Jaylene, the founder of Market Craft and Fair. So Jaylene, tell us your story. How did you start this?
Well, I went to a couple markets, and one of the ones that I went to was kind of 45 minutes away from me. We were looking at other markets that was in Idaho, very far away. And so me and my husband was like, well, why don't we just do it ourselves? There was one market that's in Kearns, the Kearns Community Market. We reached out to them because we've done a few markets with them, and they kind of took us under their wing and told us how to do it and what to do, and so it's been kind of kick off from there.
And how long have you been doing this in total then?
We've been doing it almost 2 years now.
2 years, that's a long time.
Yeah.
And I know there's a lot of vendors here. I think there's quite a bit. Sometimes you have 50, sometimes you have close to 100 people.
Yep.
How do you decide which vendor to pick?
So I have different categories that I have, and with those I try to do a few, depending on where I'm doing my market. If it's kind of a smaller building, then I'll only have a certain amount of people for that. But if it's a big building, then I can kind of spread them out. Then I'm okay doing more. Like one of my common ones is jewelry. I usually have somewhere between 5 to 10 different jewelry vendors, and depending on the building, if I can space them out enough that they're not next to each other, then I'll have more of them. But it just depends on the space of the building and how many I feel is fair doing for that market.
Perfect. Well, with so many vendors, I think you also have a lot of vendors that are disappointed because some vendors can come and make some good money and some of them barely make the booth fees.
Yep.
How do you balance this?
Unfortunately, I have to just say I'm sorry, but there's not much I can do because a lot of times I can't control how many people come. I can advertise, but I can't force people to come. And another thing is I can't control what they're going to buy. So it just kind of depends on what people are looking for when they come to shop. So I try to explain that to some of them, but each market is different. I've had markets where one person does great at one market and then the next month they hardly do anything or don't sell anything at all. And so it's kind of a hit and miss, and I try to tell people give markets 2 or 3 times chance before, I did horrible at that market, I'm not going to do it again, but give them a couple times to kind of see if it was just that bad market, that 1 month.
And have you ever have to ban someone?
Do what?
Have you ever have to ban a vendors?
Oh, ban them? Yes, unfortunately. Sometimes people like to break the rules, and so we have to be like, hey, this is a warning, don't do it again. If you do it again, you won't be able to come back. And then they do it again.
Yeah, because the whole purpose of coming on time to set up is to have the operation to move smoothly.
Yep.
So the potential customer doesn't trip over thing. It could be just look professional.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
I know you send a lot of email, come at 10, do not take down until 5, whatever.
Yep.
But some vendors still do those stuff.
Yep.
And it's frustrating to other vendors, to you, and I guess
Customers too.
customer as well.
Yep.
And the only weapon you have is just bend them pretty much.
Yep. Yep. And that's unfortunately what we had to start doing because it was happening all the time. And we couldn't really charge for taking down early because who's to say they're not going to pay me? I mean, if they pay me or not. So it got to the point where like, okay, if you keep taking down early, then we're going to have to not invite you back.
And perfect. What's the future? I mean, what is the ultimate goal of Market and Craft? What do you see this becoming?
I want it to be big enough that everyone's successful. I try as hard as I can to make it so that all the vendors are successful, they're having a good time. The thing that I can basically control is kind of having a good time. That's why we do the drawings every hour, just kind of give a little bit of a change in flow. But my biggest thing is just so that everyone is successful and has fun.
Perfect. And where can people find you? What is the website or the Facebook page?
We have a website, it's marketandcraftfair.com. And then we also have the group page on Facebook and I believe Instagram. We have Market and Craft Fair.
All right,
So, yeah.
Jaylene, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.